I tried to make a real world problem. Let's see how this turns out. Real world, real other world, right? Because it's about the moon. So I don't know, you probably watched the Artemis 2 mission to the moon. I mean, pretty awesome. I really enjoyed it a lot. But of course, there's tons of physics there. So I made this in a way that would be, not too complicated to do. But what I want to do is to calculate the acceleration of the Orion spacecraft with the European Space Service module as it flies near the moon. So in this position, I have the Earth right here, and then the moon's down at an angle right there. But it's directly below in the XY direction of the spacecraft. So we want to find the acceleration. I've already put down a bunch of numbers. So we're going to need numbers, right? So I have the gravitational constant mass of the Earth-Moon distance, the mass of the moon, the mass of the orbit of the spacecraft, the velocity of the spacecraft. We'll go do that in the second part. And then the altitude, actually this is the distance between the spacecraft and the center of the moon. That's h right there. Whew, okay, so what kind of problem is this? The first part is a Newton's second law problem, right? We have two forces interacting with that spacecraft, so we're going to need to find the net force on that spacecraft. And then we can use that to find the acceleration. So here we have F net. Is that too high? Nope. F net vector equals mass times acceleration vector. Okay, that's important. Now, what is interacting with the spacecraft? And this is not drawn to scale. I just want you to know, not even close. If you try to draw the Earth-Moon system, it's just crazy out of proportions. It's hard to draw. But right here, I have a gravitational interaction between the Earth and the spacecraft, right? So that's an attractive force. So if we're looking at the forces on this, they'll be this way. This is the force, the gravitational force. I'll call it Fe. It's the interaction between the Earth and the spacecraft. It pulls it towards the Earth. And then there's a second force this way, and I'll call that Fm. It's attracted to the moon. So it's interacting with both of those objects. Which one's greater? I don't know. We're going to have to calculate it. It's closer to the moon, but the Earth has a greater mass. So we have those two forces. We'll have to add them together to find the acceleration. Now, in this case, we don't want to necessarily break things into x and y direction because we don't know which way the acceleration is. We're going to define that. Okay, so remember that we can calculate the magnitude of the gravitational force as g. I'm going to call this actually the Earth. This is Fe. It's going to be g times the mass of the Earth times the mass of Orion divided by the distance between the Earth and the spacecraft squared. Now, we don't actually know that, right? I'm going to assume that this is the distance to the moon. And this is the distance to the Earth. So we have to find that first. If you approximate that as just the distance to the moon, I don't think that's a terrible approximation, but we're going to do it anyway. So that's this right here. And that's the magnitude. Once we get done, we can say it's in the negative x direction. Okay, so we'll use components. We'll use axis. I changed my mind. So we're going to call that the x-axis and that the y-axis. Let's find RE. So right here, I'm going to draw a triangle. So that's h. I know the value of h is 6 times 10 to the 6th. And I know this value right here is REM. 3.84 times 10 to the 8th meters. So how can I find this one, which I'll call RE? Well, I don't know the angle, but I don't need it, right? I have a right triangle, and that's why I set it up in this position, so that we can easily find that. We can say RE squared plus h squared is REM squared, Pythagorean theorem. So I can find RE. RE is going to be the square root of REM squared minus h squared. That's just a number. Don't freak out. It's just a number. So if I put that in up here, I get just a number. I'm going to get just a number. And if I write that as a vector, I'm going to say put a vector negative x hat. And remember, the x hat just means in the x direction. So that says that this force is in the negative x direction. If you wanted to, you could say plus 0 y hat. No in the y direction. I'm not going to put my numbers in because there's a lot of numbers, and we'll use Python to do that. Okay, now I need to do the same thing for the moon force. So Fm is going to be equal to, let's just go ahead and write that as a vector. It's in the negative y direction. G, mass of the moon, mass of the spacecraft, divided by, this is just going to be h squared. So I know that distance already is h squared, and that's going to be y hat. You could say plus x hat. Now, why does that matter? Because once I find the net force, I just need to add these two things together. So if I add these two things together, it's going to be the x component of this plus the x component of this. But there is no x component over here. It just says 0. And the y component of this, 0, plus the y component of that. Well, I can do that. So F net, I'm going to write it as one fell swoop. It's going to be, I'm going to factor out this g. I just don't have to, but I'm not going to. Negative g, mass of the Earth, mass over RE squared. Remember, we have to find that. And in fact, we can just do this. We don't need to take the square root. We only need the square. X hat, and then this plus that, minus g, mass of the moon mass over h squared, y hat. That's the net force. And that's going to be equal to mass times acceleration. We want to find the acceleration, but look, I don't even need to know this silly mass of the Orion spacecraft. It cancels. So we can now find the acceleration vector. I'm going to go ahead and put this in Python. You could use your calculator, but there's a lot of stuff. I'd rather just put it in Python because I like Python. Let's see. Does that say? Okay. Okay, let's switch over here to Python. If you can do it on your calculator, you can do it in Python. If you can do it in Python, you can do it in the calculator. Let's just go ahead and start entering all our variables. G equals 6.67 times 10 to the negative 11th. Mass of the Earth, I'll call it ME, it is 5.97, just 97, times 10 to the 24th. Mass of the moon, MM, lowercase m, I'm using that, 7.35 times 10 to the 22nd. I'm leaving off the units because Python doesn't want to use those units. I need H. H is 6 times 10 to the 6th. I need REM, and that was 3.84 times 10 to the 8th. Okay, now we can break it into pieces. Let's go ahead and calculate RE, right? I had that. It was the square root of REM. No, I didn't need to do the square root. I'm going to do it anyway. Square root of REM squared minus h squared. So I have that. That's right up there. Now I can just go ahead and start plugging in and get my acceleration. So A is going to be equal to, I'm going to write it as a vector, negative g times mass of the Earth divided by RE squared. That's it. And then my y component is going to be negative g times mass of the moon. Case does matter in Python, to be very careful about that. Divided by h squared. Now, I'm using the built-in vector class, and it requires 3 dimensions, so I need the 0 for that right there. Now I can print that. Let's say A equals A, and give it a unit so it looks nice. Meters per second squared, and run it. There you go. Now, you'll notice this acceleration is very small, right? 0.14 meter per second squared. That's fine, right? You wouldn't expect it to be super great. And in the x direction is very small. This is the acceleration due to the Earth, and that's due to the moon. So it's much closer to the moon. It's in moon's orbit. They call it in moon's gravitational interaction when the gravitational acceleration due to the moon is greater than the Earth. Okay. Let's go to the second part. And you notice I didn't use the velocity or the time. Okay. The second part says, let me switch back to my question. What is the new velocity vector after 10 minutes? So we know the acceleration now. So I know that value. A, it's a vector. And I know the velocity, which I'm going to have to switch units. And I know the time interval. So we can define acceleration as the change in velocity with respect to time. And I can write that as v2 minus v1 over delta t. Now, I know v1, it's given. It's a vector in the negative x direction. And I can use this to solve for v2. So I'm going to multiply both sides by delta t, and I get v2 minus v1 is a delta t. Now I'm going to add v1 to both sides. I get v2 v1 plus a delta t. Now, you may be saying, hold on, man, hold on. You can't do that. This is the definition of acceleration if acceleration's constant. But as the spacecraft moves near the moon, it changes position and it changes the gravitational force, changes acceleration. And you are correct. It is wrong. But in 10 minutes, the position change of the spacecraft is super small, and the change in the gravitational forces is also very small. So it's wrong, but it's only kind of wrong. And so we can do it anyway. Okay. So we need to get delta t in seconds. So delta t is 10 minutes. And when we convert units, we always want to multiply by 1. If I multiply by the fraction 1, I don't change anything. So if I multiply this by 60 seconds over 1 minute, this fraction, 60 seconds, is 1 minute. So this fraction is 1. So I'm multiplying 10 minutes by 1. I'm not changing it. But the minute units cancel, and I get 600 seconds. So there's my delta t. Now I need to do the same thing with the velocity. The magnitude of the velocity is, I looked this up, 38 times 10 to the 6th meter. It was 38,000 kilometers per hour. So I converted it to meters per hour. And again, we want to multiply by something that will cancel the hours. So I can say 1 hour is 60 minutes, and the hours cancel. And then I can say 1 minute is 60 seconds. So my velocity is going to be 38 times 10 to the 6th meters per second, and I have to divide by 3,600, right? 'Cause 60 times 60. So that's that. And the velocity vector is going to be in the negative x direction. So there's my v1. I want to find v2. I have my value for a. I have my value for delta t. So let's just go back to Python and plug that stuff in. Python. OK, there's my, oh, I didn't switch. There you go. So there's my acceleration. Let's just go ahead and write v1 as, I'll call it v1. It's a vector. It's going to be equal to 38 times 10 to the 6th times, divided by 3,600. Wait, what did I do? Yeah. Right. Okay. And then my dt was, I'm just going to write it as 600. So you can't see that. v2, v1 plus a times dt. That's it. Right? I already did all the hard work. And then print v2, negative 0, 0 is in the negative x direction. v2, notice here, if I did that, I'd get an error because a is a vector, delta t is a scalar, so this gives me a vector value. But you can't add a vector to a scalar, so it would freak out. Meters per second. And so you can see that the velocity did change a lot. Oh, no, it didn't. OK. So I didn't calculate that number. OK. So it's moving mostly in the x direction, and then it has a small y component of the velocity too. So that's fine. If you want to find the magnitude of these two, we could do that. The magnitude of the acceleration would be this squared plus that square rooted. The magnitude of this would be that square plus that square rooted. But that's fine. We'll leave that for alone. Real world problem, though, I think it's real world-ish. So there you go. The end.